Previously on Cop Rock, a lot of stuff happening, including this.
I didn't arrest Tyrone Weeks because he was black. I didn't shoot Tyrone Weeks because he was black. See, to this cop, there's only two kinds of people. Good guys and bad guys. And my job is to go after the bad guys.
Except he didn't arrest Tyrone Weeks, Gaines and Rolfe did. Vincent Larusso was on a call-in radio show following his lawyer's script so we can turn him into a national hero before he stands trial for cold-blooded murder.
Item 7. Item 7, November 29, 3 p.m. Conflict resolution seminar in this room. Attendance mandatory. You got a conflict with that?
Yeah, I do.
It's resolved. You're going.
I can't help wondering if he practiced that line on his way to work because he knew someone was going to do that. The morning roll call was a staple on Hill Street Blues, and they always ended the same way. But this time we can do it with flair.
Homicide, arson, robbery, rape. Everybody gets their share. Crime never sleeps, so stay awake. And let's be careful out there.
We've had lots of subtle callbacks to Hill Street Blues this whole time, but this is the most in-your-face one, and it calls back to one of the most beloved lines of the series. Plus, it's a really good song, and it fits, and he can really rock that organ. I just wonder how he does paperwork on it.
What do you think, huh? Come on, let's find out.
I don't know about paperwork, but his callbacks are the most effective I've ever seen.
Captain, look at this guy. Found this on my front door this morning. Front door of my house.
I'll get a squad from Metro to handle it.
And my kids. I need them covered to and from school.
You got it.
Say, Alice is shook. The kids know something's
Donnie,
wrong.
from now on, you're gonna have a security blanket over you and your family.
The captain had to know this was going to happen. He and his family are getting death threats and the whole bit. Captain Hollander refused to consider the fallout for other people from his little vendetta. And he still isn't. He'll put a Band-Aid on it and tell Donnie it's all better. Donnie knows it isn't.
But what about around here?
Meaning what?
Meaning I don't know what's harder to take. A threat like this or the crap I get from these other guys.
Well, that part we had to expect.
We had to expect. Hollander isn't getting any of the flack. It's all falling on Donnie. Hollander tells him to tough it out and sends him on his way. Gracias por nada.
You give in to it, they got you beat.
If it's only me that's affected, bring it on. If it's my family, I just might say fine, they got me beat. At least my children are safe.
What kind of world do we live in where a man doesn't know who to trust?
I wonder how long he could tough it out if this was directed at him.
Whatever happened to loyalty? Has it become just a thing of the past? What kind of world do we live in?
Over at the city building, the mayor has received some disturbing news.
It's my letter of resignation.
Why?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Excuse me, Ray. That's not an option. Are you in some kind of trouble?
Yes.
Then I absolutely insist you tell me what it is.
Well, he's sort of in trouble. A journalist who's also a gay activist is writing a piece about gay people in government. He plans to feature Ray prominently without Ray's permission. Ray's afraid that outing him will be a political liability to the mayor, considering how much homophobia there still is out there. Yes, I said is, not was.
You are my trusted employee, and you are my friend. We'll weather this together.
Nice catch. The mayor wants to have a little chat with Mr. Barry, the guy writing the article.
We're trying to give gays in the community positive role models to identify with.
But what if someone doesn't want to be a role model? What if someone simply wishes to have his or her private life remain private?
The gay community is fighting a war, Your Honor, a war that we're losing. And we've got to turn that around if that means a few casualties. C'est la guerre.
Remember he said that.
I understand you've been living with a man named Esteban Santiago. How long has it been now?
8 years.
He came here from Chile 9 years ago on a student visa. Just never left. He's worked the past 6 years as a designer and builder of fine furniture. Never filed a state or federal tax return. Never got a green card.
Oops! He lives in a glass house and she has some very big stones.
If I pick up that phone, the INS and the IRS will see to it that he's kicked out and never returns.
That's blackmail.
Yes.
You have no right to dig into my private life.
Boy, you know what they say, dude.
C'est la guerre.
A little different when your partner's the casualty, huh?
No more right than you have to dig into Mr. Rodbart's private life. Now, you listen to me, mister, and you listen good. If you want your private life to remain private, you will cease and desist with any plans to write about Ray Rodbart. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, Your Honor.
As I said, she has some very big stones, and she just cut his off and stuffed them in his pocket. Vince Larusso is in Sidney's office. Sidney wants the truth. He needs to know exactly what happened in that room so he knows how to proceed at trial.
Once it was clear to me that Officers Gaines and Rolfs had made serious errors in effecting the arrest, I went into the house and instructed Detective Potts to stand Tyrone up. I unholstered my 9mm and put 3 rounds into his heart.
He did ask. Trish wants to be sure she heard what she heard.
Did you have any reason to believe that either you or Officer Potts were in any physical danger at the time?
No, I did not.
Did you have any reason to believe that Mr. Weeks was about to escape?
No, I did not.
Then why did you do it?
The guy murdered a cop. I didn't want him to get away with it.
That's it?
That's it.
Ralph is still going around telling everyone it was Andy's fault that Vicky got shot. It's been thoroughly investigated and he's wrong, but he's got a good mad going and he will not be deprived of it. She's back at work and Andy gave her a small box of chocolates to celebrate. Ralph gave her this.
Hi.
Hiya.
How's it feeling?
It feels fine.
You sure?
So far.
We should have taken another comp day.
Ralph,
Well, he's stuck to a desk.
I told you, I feel fine.
I think she's in a better position to evaluate that than you are, Ralph. And I'm not sure she realizes what the real problem is yet.
Maybe you ought to talk to Hollander. Tell him you'd be better off with a new assignment just for a while.
Going back out on the street with my partner. That's what I'm doing, Ralph.
All right. Might want to eat that before it melts all over your fingers.
Wow. Rose showed her more affection than her husband did, and all he did was pat her on the shoulder. After work, Ralph heads to the bar where the cops hang out. And I may get nailed for copyright, but you have to hear this joke.
Shower, and all of a sudden they hear this noise outside the door, and she says, "Oh my God, it's my husband! He's 6'6", 250, and has a violent temper. Quick, go out the window." So the guy dives out the window, and it's pouring rain outside. And he's hiding behind this bush, butt naked, with a bunch of joggers come running by. So the guy's no dummy. He jumps into the middle of the pack and starts running along. When one of the joggers looks down at him and says, "Hey, you always jog with the rubber on?" And the guy says, "Only when it's raining."
That one just gets me. Ralph isn't in a laughing mood, and neither is Vincent Larusso. But Trish just came in and sat with him, and she's in a very different mood.
So hot.
Oh, yeah?
I realized you were a killer. It's not anger or sadism or sexual frustration that makes you that way.
And you find this sexually arousing?
I find it sexually overwhelming.
He's a stone-cold killer, and that turns her on. As long as she's not the one he's killing, I guess.
Let's get out of here.
It's not.
I'm glad this is television and not an R-rated movie because I don't want to know anything. By the way, remember that protection detail around Donnie Potts' home and family? They suck. Donnie wants his wife to take the children back in the house, but his wife says no. You kids take a good look at that.
Now we're free to take their charity. We're free to smile like fools. We're free to fight the war they make. Free to fear their schools.
I never understood the point of burning a cross. Why a cross? What's it supposed to symbolize, if anything? It looks to me more like a symbol of a few people's stupidity than a symbol of white supremacy.
It's not gonna happen here.
I'm with her. Have those kids take a careful look and tell them the history of it. Then find those cops who were supposed to be watching the place and shick the kid out of them.
All right, now I'm gonna make this as simple as I can. If there's anything you don't understand, I want you to stop me and I'll explain it. You will remain on the detail assigned to Officer Potts' home. Your dereliction of duty will be officially noted, and should there be a repeat of the incident like the one we had last night, I will hold you all personally responsible.
Close enough. That note in their files will bite them in the butt when it's time for promotions and raises and such, and holding them personally responsible probably means firing at the very least. One was off getting coffee, 2 others were chasing a suspicious vehicle, another was around back. They all have an excuse, and now they have a negative mark on their records. I hope the coffee was really good. Remember that tantrum Ralph has been throwing? Yeah, it's escalating.
How's the thigh wound?
It's okay.
You know, if I'd just been quicker, I could have probably stopped the bleeding.
Oh, you could have, huh?
Yeah. By applying very firm pressure to the affected upper thigh area with my hand. How high up is it anyway?
That's for me to know.
And me to find out, all right.
Andy.
He's following them. He just knows he's going to catch them engaging in both hanky and panky. There's only one reason they could be stopping at a motel, right? Ralph has seen enough. Oh no, he hasn't. Nobody has seen enough until they've seen that. But Vicky has seen enough.
What are you going to do? Shoot us?
Stop it, will you?
Which one of us?
What do you want me to say? I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What do you expect when a man thinks his wife's in a sack with some other guy? How is he supposed to act?
After this, I don't know what to expect.
Maybe I'm wrong about today, but I'm not wrong about what's going on between you two.
She insists they've never touched each other, but as I said, he's got a good mad going and he will have it no matter who gets hurt.
If you can look me in the eye and tell me you don't love him and you don't want him, look me straight in the eye and say it, I'll believe you.
I don't love him. Damn you, and I don't want him.
You're a liar.
No, Ralph, you are a liar. You said you'd believe her if she did that. You humiliated her and forced her to degrade herself to you, and then you spit in her face. If she ran into Andy's arms right now, I'd be cheering for her.
You stay the hell away from my wife. We don't have no problem.
She's my partner. That's all she is. Anything else you think is going on is in your head.
You know what I think? I think you see a pretty young woman who's married to a middle-aged, overweight cop, and you figure, oh, what the hell? I'd like a piece of that.
That's crazy.
Now, what's crazy is you thinking I don't know what's going on between you and my wife.
I can't talk to you, Ralph.
Then get the hell out of my face!
Your face was sitting still right in the path of where mine was going, so that means you got in my face. Meanwhile, Sidney is still preparing for trial, so he's talking with Officer Gaines. Gaines begins by saying he'd like to see Larusso acquitted.
Were you the officer that handcuffed him?
Yes, I was.
Is it your contention that you handcuffed him properly?
Look, Mr. Weitz, I do know how to put on a pair of handcuffs.
Forgive me, officer. I asked the question only because you managed to make so many mistakes. He calls in question your competence as a police officer.
Oh, yeah?
Gaines doesn't realize what Sidney is doing, but Sidney is getting what he wants, and he likes what he sees.
I am not the idiot you're trying to make me out to be. I'm a cop. Now, I may be young, but I'm also a professional, and I do know my job. Now, part of my job is to pay attention to stuff, to write stuff down, to remember stuff. That's what I do, and that's exactly what I did.
That's exactly what he did. And he did something else.
I've got over 1,800 cars in this garage, Ace. You don't remember the level, you don't remember the section.
I'm sorry.
Well, they got a different color for every level. We got 9 levels.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry too, man.
He forgot where he parked. And this parking garage is bigger than some towns I've lived in.
Mom always told me, be nice to strangers. Look on the bright side, keep my nose clean. Said every cloud's got a silver lining. How come they're always raining on me?
I think the car alarm is out of tune.
Maybe I'm slow, but I know what I know. And I know when the joke's on me.
This is a happy song, and it reflects Gaines' personality in a peppy, enjoyable way. He makes a lot of mistakes, and you know why? Because he's not afraid to try. He takes the risk, and sometimes he falls on his face. But he gets back up and tries again. That's another reason why he's such a good partner for Rose. He's reminding Rose how much fun it can be to be a cop.
I got the right stuff, I'm okay. I'm gonna make my day, and I keep getting better and better every step of the way.
Quite honestly, I'm thinking about covering this song. It's that good. And he left his keys in Sidney's office. Speaking of offices, Ray heard the good news and just came into the mayor's office to thank her.
Loyalty cuts both ways.
Will you be wanting me to stay, Your Honor?
No. I'm just waiting for Chief Kendrick to pick me up. Where are you off to?
A birthday theme party. What do you think?
It's very authentic.
Thank you.
The chief appears as Ray is going out, and he can't help staring a little. Then he comes in and delivers my favorite line of this whole series. And it's even better when we remember what she just did for Ray.
Louise, I'm going to confide in you a suspicion I've been harboring for some time now that I haven't shared with anyone else. I think that boy's as queer as a $3 bill.
We'll cut away to Vincent Larusso giving a speech at a bail bondsman's convention, and I want to give a severe talking to whoever did that. I want to see her reaction, darn it.
He's so tough, he smokes in bed, face down. Vince Larusso is so tough, his shadow killed a dog.
Larusso is loving this, you can tell. He looks so natural in this element, it's like he was born to do this.
I was approached by these very attractive girls who wanted to show their admiration for you their way. Ladies and gentlemen, Brenda and the Bus Monsters.
Vincent's face says all this hoopla is starting to make him feel like a trained monkey on display. Thing is, he knows that's exactly what he is, and Sidney and Trish will have a lot more hoops for him to jump through before this is over. Vince's speech is nothing of significance. The streets are a war zone. Criminals have more rights than victims. Dude killed a cop after a judge let him go. I did what I had to do. Printed on recycled paper. I wasn't supposed to read that part. His PR campaign seems to be working. Correction. Sidney's PR campaign seems to be working. They did come up with one really stupid idea. A staged event like a robbery so he could intervene, save everybody, and be a hero. At least he said no to that. Even a trained monkey has limits.
I think that boy's as queer as a $3 bill.